Japan is the best place in the world for Magic the Gathering. Ich habe gar nichts mit Magic zu tun. Nix. Ich kann nur sagen, dass da jetzt ein paar Collabs waren. Mehr weiß ich nicht. Ich weiß, Avatar Collab, Final Fantasy Collab, Warhammer Collab, wo ich mir ein Deck geholt habe. Einfach nur, weil ich Warhammer cool finde. Aber ich weiß, dass es ein Commander-Format gibt. Ich weiß, dass es Lord of the Rings Ring gibt, den Post Malone gekauft hat. Aber ansonsten bin ich da komplett raus. Aber ja, wir schauen uns einfach mal an. Wir sind ja offen für alle TCGs, egal welches TCG. Magic auch so der OG, ne? War so das erste Card-Game 1900. Weiß ich gar nicht, muss ich googeln, weiß ich nicht. 94, wenn ich schätzen müsste. Magic First Cards Release. 93, ja, war ich doch fast dran. 93. So, dann schauen wir mal, was bei Magic in Japan so abgeht. Hoffentlich erklärt er ziemlich viel, weil ich weiß gar nichts von Magic.
Underground stores are some of the largest in the country. If you could find it on Google Maps, I probably went there. So for the next month, I'll be posting loads of content where I explore Japan's major cities.
Magic-Karten, das ist ein Ding, oder was?
This is a series I'm calling Tapped Out in Japan.
Okay. Crazy. Ich dachte, das wäre nur so ein rein westliches Ding. Tokyo. Aber mir gefällt schon mal so dieser Vibe, dieses Editing mit der Musik und diese Cuts und so.
Now, if you watch my previous videos,
Gutes Film.
you'd know that the last time I visited Tokyo, I had merely one day to explore the city.
Warte mal, wie sehen denn diese Magic-Karten aus? Das sieht doch gar nicht aus wie Magic. Das sieht ziemlich tough aus. Okay, gibt's auch sowas wie bei Yu-Gi-Oh! So OCG und TCG bei Magic? Weil ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass das auch eine westliche Karte ist, oder? Ah, sieht sehr nice aus. Ist das irgendeine Promo, oder?
This time I'll be exploring the whole country and visiting 3 of their major cities, Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. Today's video will be focused on Tokyo, but make sure to subscribe to keep up to date of where I'm going next. Now, the last time I was here, I didn't really have a goal or a solid list of things I wanted to try and find, and the focus was more on just visiting as many LGSs as possible.
Okay.
However, this time I knew what I was hunting for. Strixhaven Mystical Archive Cards. And especially
Mystical Archive Cards. Ich will kurz gucken, was das ist. Magic Mystical Archive Cards. Was ist das? Okay, müssen wir ChatGPT fragen, oder was? Kann ich das hier eingeben, dass das die in Google machen? Nee. ChatGPT. Let him cook. Boom. It sounds like you're talking about Japanese mystical archive cards from Magic the Gathering. Was auch immer das hier ist. Strixhaven School of Mages. Achso, das ist ein Set einfach. Okay. What are Magical Archive Cards? Okay. Keine Ahnung. Irgendein Set. Okay. Sieht auf jeden Fall ziemlich nice aus.
This collection felt like the perfect little memento to collect here in Tokyo, and I really wanted to keep a lookout for these.
Sieht mega cool aus.
Has some incredibly playable cards, and last time I was here, I picked
aber playable, du spielst doch nicht bei dir, also er lebt ja nicht in Japan, er lebt ja irgendwo, ich weiß nicht, USA oder so. Du kannst ja mit japanischen Karten noch nicht spielen, oder? Außer du sitzt da mit der Übersetzung.
I really wanted this, but for the entire set now. There are 63 different mystical archive cards, each with their own variation in Japanese and in English.
Ui, das meine ich, das sieht ja turbo-sick aus. Der Drache sieht ziemlich nice aus. Was kostet der? Boah, wir müssen gehen. Ich mach kurz Musik an, das dauert ein paar Minuten. Mystical Archive Magic in Japanese. Card Market, zeigt mir was. Oder was hier ist. Okay, das sind die Western Artworks. Was ist das? Das sieht aus wie eine Custom-Karte. Hier sehen die Japanese. Wow. Die sehen wunderschön aus. Was können? Die sehen ja geisteskrank aus. Was können? Was kosten die? Hey! 280. Ich finde den Drachen ziemlich cool. Wie heißt der Drache? Steht irgendwie der Drache heißt er was? Card Market. I am for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. I apologize a trillion times. Natürlich sind die japanischen Karten so teuer. I am for real. Wo ist der Unterschied hier? Wir haben hier Japanisch. Ah, voll. Warum kostet voll edged weniger? Was ist das? Mythic. Mythic. Womit graden die diese Karten PSA, ne? Mhm. Near Mint. Dämon. Warte. Wo ist ChatGPT, Bro? Ich brauch dich. ChatGPT. So, mach den Chat auf. Wo ist der Unterschied bei den japanischen zwischen V2 und V4 in Klammern, wie heißt das? Foil-edged. Foil-edged. Also das war der echte Unterschied. Japanese Non-Foil, Foil-edged. Teilweise glänzend, aber sehr subtil. Was heißt... Was ist beliebter? V2 oder V4? Wieso ist ein Non-Vollkarten teurer? Warte mal, ich will kurz. V2 versus V4. Magic Enhanced Japanese. Weiß ja, egal. Auf jeden Fall sind die beliebter. Mystical Archive. Heiß First. Guck mal, wir haben 200 Budget. Ich nehme mal ein paar Magic-Karten mit. 545 Redemption. Guck mal, wir nehmen ein paar mit. Most Expensives first. Kenn ich irgendjemanden, der sich mit Magic auskennt? Ja, schon das Discord. What I need is a pretty woman next to me. Pretty woman. Where dreams are... Ich bin kurz pinkel, Jungs. Ich komm gleich, okay? Make it a family. Family.
Bubble bath in a champagne glass, about the size of a campaign ad. You don't know how you looked at me, but if love was a crime, you's a crook to me. Cause mommy, I done been around the world, seen a lot of places, been around your girl, believe I read faces. I could tell she don't want me prevail, but I learned my lesson, watching Sean stressing. So why listen to her and start guessing? Mommy, you ain't ready to ride to start dressing. I need a girl, receive my mom's blessing, confession, my love, no contesting. I need affection. Let's go, Mary. Girl, what the hell is on your mind? Yeah. I could be done, but I'm not blind. There's something leaking in your mind. Don't look too good for you and me. Always getting weak. That ain't what I need, baby. Is a pretty woman next to me. Oh, please, baby. Share the dreams that I
is what I need. It's a pretty woman next to me. I need a girl in my life. So. Ich will mal kurz noch meine Favorites raustappen, okay? Bum, 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 bum. Ah, das hätte ich nicht schließen sollen. Nee. Wisst ihr aber, Junge. Bro, lock in. Konzentriere dich, Dan. Das ist es. Lock in. So, ich gehe mal kurz. Brauche ich nicht. Brauche ich nicht, brauche ich nicht. Brauche ich nicht, brauche ich nicht. Okay, was wären meine Favorites von den japanischen? Ich gehe jetzt rein nach Artwork. Ich hätte gesagt, der. Der. Der Vogel. Ja, jetzt weiß ich, dass es die teuerste ist, ne? I can start a family. I need to get you the money. Oh, die sehen alle cool aus, ne? Aber ich mach's. Ah komm, wir schauen erst mal das Video dann. Bevor ich hier was am gucken bin. Lassen wir ihn erstmal machen und dann. Biggie, 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 can't you see so much money? Hypnotize
I'm
me.
gonna have to find 126 cards. So let's see how many I can really find here in Japan and if I can get them for an actual good price.
Ich bin mal gespannt, was er huntet. Ob er die Foil oder Non-Foil
Now,
huntet.
my goal for today was pretty simple. I wanted to visit Ikebukuro and Takadanobara, both of which are north of Shinjuku. These spots house over 10 different LGSs I wanted to visit, and I definitely had my work cut out for me, especially when I had to try and figure out the Japanese train stations. So let's head to the first stop. After I got off the train in Ikebukuro, the first stop I headed to was Mint Games. This was a small store located on the second story of like this department building. They stocked a bunch of different TCGs, which is never really a great sign if you're here just for Magic cards.
Ich will kurz schauen. Yen to Euro. Umgekehrt brauche ich. Ich will Euro to Yen. Was sind ungefähr 10 Euro? Also 1000. Okay, also ungefähr das Doppelte mal 10. Oder? Ja. Ja, okay. Also 200 Yen, 1 Euro. Okay.
But they did have Magic. They had a small collection of cabinets towards the back wall with a few good deals like this Ashnod's Altar. And apparently they do have bulk bins here, but I wasn't able to spot them. So unfortunately, I didn't spend too much time at this stop and I couldn't find any Mystical Archive cards on display. So it was time to dip and head straight to my next stop. Only a couple minutes away from Mint Games lies a pretty good cluster of Magic the Gathering stores. And the first one I wanted to stop at was Yellow Submarine. Yellow Submarine is a chain of stores you can find here in Japan, but the two main ones you can find in Tokyo are here and in Shinjuku. Now these stores don't just stock Magic cards, so as I said earlier, your options are slightly limited. However, once you head in, you can head straight to the back right corner of the store where you can find cabinets full of Magic cards. Their collection wasn't amazing, but on the other side of these cabinets is where the magic truly lies, the bulk trays. These cards are pretty unorganized, but this is where I really started to search for my Mystical Archive cards. And after about 30 minutes, I was lucky enough to find a small collection of cards for this challenge that totaled for about 316 yen, or about $2 USD. The next store I had to pop into was down the road, and it's one of my personal favorites, Big Magic. Big Magic is another LGS with multiple locations, but they mainly stock Magic the Gathering, given their name, but they do have other things. Big Magic is known for stocking high-end Magic cards, and it's the perfect stop for Mystical Archive cards. Now, the first thing I did when I popped in was go straight to the iPads, where you can search up any card and place an order from the stock they have in their store. Now, I didn't want to just get
900 Yen
all
ist
my
ja
good
Tour
cards from, like,
günstig.
one
4
stop.
Euro
So
für so
I
eine
limited
Full Art.
myself to just a couple random ones, and I put in a little bit of an order to see how many of them they actually had in stock and how many I could really tick off my list. While I waited for my number to be called out, I checked out the displays where they had such an awesome collection of singles and sealed product. And once they called my number, I picked up about 30 Mystical Archive cards, which put a pretty decent dent in our collection and my wallet. Overall, all these Mystical Archive cards set me back about 5,340 yen, and that totals to about $35 USD. And easily, my most notable pickup from this entire collection was this awesome looking Japanese counterspell. It just looks so good. Some other honorable mentions include God's Willing, Duress, Doomblade, Divine Gambit, and Stone Rain. And this is only some of what I got. The next stop was a store
Aber
called Trickstar,
wieso
and
holt
apparently
man
they
sich
no
die
longer stock Magic
Non-Holo?
cards,
Ich versteh's
so
nicht.
I was in and out here
Holo
pretty
sieht doch viel
quickly.
cooler aus.
Now, our final stop for this area was a store called Card Rush. And when I got here, there's a giant line of people waiting at the front, and I was so confused. I didn't really know if there was like an organized event or anything going on, but I was only here to shop, so they fast-tracked me straight into the store where I could check out the Magic the Gathering cards. Inside, it was super cramped and super packed, and I ended up leaving pretty quickly, and there wasn't really anything that really caught my eye, but out of the cards that I did see, the only one that did get my attention was this Shakashima. And oh my god, Shakashima is so expensive now. Now, it was finally time to head out of Ikebukuro and into another district called Takodanobara. I had high hopes for this district as it houses one of the most popular Magic the Gathering stores in all of Tokyo called the Haruya Tournament Center. This is like the promised land of all Magic the Gathering stores. But before I headed there was 2 other stops I wanted to make just to see really what they could compete against. This is Game Shop Toto, at least that's what it translated to on Google, but I don't really know because I don't have an English name and I don't read Japanese, but this is what Google Translate told me, so this is what we're calling it. This store was easily the greatest surprise to me from my trip so far. And basically,
Okay, das sind die Chickens von Final Fantasy, diesen Turbo teuer.
Magic the Gathering store with a bunch of different display cabinets. They had a good selection of cards from Mystical Archive, including a time.
Was das heißt? Ich glaube, dieses goldene Full Art, oder? Das über das Ganze geht. Oder gelb, gold, grün, was ist das?
They also have a bunch of bulk trays, which is super unorganized, but you know the drill by now. I put my bag down and I started searching for all the cards left in my Mystical Archive hunt. Now, I ended up finding a handful of cards I needed, so I ended up grabbing them as well as this old Japanese pack of Lorwyn, as it was Lorwyn pre-release during the time that I recorded this video. And if you've seen my Instagram short, I got fuck all out of this pack. All up, I spent about 2,500 yen here, or about 16 USD.
Aber das sind Foils jetzt.
The other cheeky pack was about another 2,000 yen or so. The staff here was super friendly, and I highly recommend you popping into their store and checking it out before you make your way into Haruya Tournament Center. And I was shocked by how close the store really was to probably the biggest store in all of Tokyo. There's also another store across the road called Nukanen, but I ran out of time to go here as I decided to go after Haruya, so unfortunately I didn't pop in, but I've heard really good things and you should definitely check it out if they're open. Now let's talk about Haruya Tournament Center. If you enjoy Magic the Gathering and you find yourself chilling in Tokyo, you need to stop here. When you walk in, there are 2 full racks of singles all sorted by color and mana value, and you can spend your whole day here just searching. In addition to that, they have these cabinets upon cabinets of singles ranging from all different price points. And now, I didn't really spend too much time prying on the glass cabinets as my eyes were definitely set on the bulk bins, but honestly, if you can think of a card over about $30, they probably have it in their cabinets here. On the other side, they have shelves of different cool products, secret layers, and other interesting random miscellaneous Magic the Gathering stuff. Every Haruya is also known for having these like gacha games where you can basically choose a price point, pick a repack and get a grade in it, and depending on what grade you get, you can also get a card from the cabinet. I ended up spending about 5,000 yen here, which is about 32 AUD. I walked away with this enlightened shooter for my Enchantress deck that I'm building, and I was actually pretty happy about that.
Ja,
Now,
okay,
once I was
wenn er
done
ruhig ist, ist er
buying the
alles
collection,
erzählt.
I put my headphones in and I started digging through the singles in search of Mystical Archive cards and any other random good deals I could find. I ended up picking up Mystical Archive cards and some awesome deals on cards like Balthor for 300 yen and this foil Baller Citadel 400 yen. I also picked up 2 Full Art Terrorists for 300 yen to give some of my friends back home because I know they always enjoy these. And on my way out, I grabbed one of these free bulk things that they had on the shelves, which I'm sure I'll do a video on in the future or show you my haul eventually. All up, I ended up spending 4,400 yen here, and that totals to about $28.50 USD. After that, the sun was getting low and I was getting exhausted after doing like 16,000 steps, so we headed straight back to the hotel and we prepped for day 2. Here is also a quick sneak peek of all the cards we picked up on
Alles
day 1
non-holo.
Mystical Archive collection, and this was way more than I thought. Now today was going to be the big one. If you're a nerd and you enjoy all things pop culture, anime or gaming, Akihabara is your one-stop shop for all things nerdy. This area also has the greatest concentration of Magic the Gathering stores in all of Tokyo, including some of my favorite stores on the entire planet, so you have to come with me. When you arrive in Akihabara, the first store you should visit is Haruya. Located on the 8th floor, sandwiched between all the maid cafes, this store is your perfect example of what makes Magic the Gathering so fun to shop for in Tokyo. When you walk in, you're greeted with a great collection of glass cabinets full of interesting cards, all waiting for your future decks. Given that this store is super popular, it's unlikely that you'll find any rare cards, But stick around today as I'll show you the best store in all of Tokyo that's coming up on this list. One of the positive sides of being a super popular store is that they have a large amount of stock. So I headed straight to the PCs and searched up as many mystical archive of cards as I possibly could today, because I was so determined on finishing my goal. I ended up finding a giant collection of singles I needed here, which totaled for about 33,000 yen. And that's about $200, which was easily my biggest purchase by far. After I placed my order, I pretty much just looked around for 15 minutes until they had all my cards waiting for me. Then I grabbed them, picked them up, and moved on straight to the next store. This is Big Magic, one of Tokyo's premier stores for high-end singles and rare collectible Magic the Gathering cards. Located on the 9th floor of the department store, Big Magic keeps their stock towards the back, right-ish, depending on where you enter, and similar to Harajuku, you probably won't find too many great deals on their singles.
Okay.
Super.
Bro, wie Black Lotus sind das? Ich weiß, ich bin halt nicht drin in Magic, aber da gibt es nicht Alpha, Beta und ba. Aber ist das nicht crazy, hier so 5 Black Lotus nebeneinander zu sehen? Digga, what the fuck?
Popular store. But with that being said, you guessed it, I went straight to the iPad to place an order because I was so determined on finding mystical archive cards today. While I was waiting for my number to be called out, I looked through all the cabinets. It's so interesting to see all the secret layers and vintage Magic cards and all the really rare things that you don't usually see every day. If you're interested in high-end singles and rare Magic the Gathering cards, Big Magic is the best chain in Tokyo that has these caliber and levels of rarity. This store also does bulk bins, but nowhere near to the same level as some of the other stores on this list, so I wouldn't spend too much of your time here. They also have a shit ton of sealed product, which is really cool if you're into that stuff. This store probably has the best arrangement of sealed product as well. Once my order was called out, I picked up another great collection of mystical archive cards, which totaled for about 80 USD again, and rip my wallet at this point. You have to get it done.
I just spent $400 on Magic cards.
Now, located across the road from Big Magic is a star called Card Wings, and this is the first time I've ever visited this store, and to be honest, it's nothing too special. Their Magic collection is kept on the 3rd floor and shares a space with what I think is Flesh and Blood, but their cabinets are pretty sparse and they don't really have too much to look at here. Overall, their stock was also a little bit overpriced, so I didn't spend too much time here. But towards the entrance of their level 3 store, I also found that they had this special stock where they were selling cards for what was supposedly a discount, but there's no mystical archive cards, so it was time to move on. The next store was one of the hidden gems I found the last time I was in Japan, and honestly, I still don't know its name, so we're still calling it the Laneway store, but unfortunately, they do not stock Magic the Gathering stuff anymore, so that's a shame. Moving on. Our next stop is only a couple minutes away, and that's Amenity Dreams. Amenity Dreams is another chain of card stores here in Tokyo, but they have a more old-fashioned twist. The notable difference is that all their stores, at least the ones I visited, are cash only, and they have no digital ordering devices. Instead, they have little slips of paper where you can go around writing the cards you want from the
Cash
cabinets,
only?
and
Alter, ist das nicht irgendwie ein bisschen unseriös, dieses Cash only? Was ist das? Ist das ein Dönerbude in Berlin oder Cash only? Lass mich doch eine Karte zahlen.
Bunch of bulk, but I've never really found anything at these stores that I found just interesting enough or in English, which is obviously very difficult being in a non-English speaking country. The next store on my list was the biggest surprise of the day, and that's Azumaya. It's only down the road from Amenity Dreams and is located on the 3rd floor away from all the hustle and bustle of Akihabara. And the vibe to this place is so chill. Usually stores like this don't have the greatest selection of English cards, but I dug straight into their bulk bins to prove my theory, and I was actually wrong. Their trays had some notable cards I needed for my mystical archive collection, as well as some other notable things to look at, so I was pretty happy with this stop. Once I was done, I headed to their PCs, searched up a few more cards I needed for my collection, and then I was finally time to enjoy a little bit of a rest away from all of the people of Tokyo. I forgot to write down how much I spent here, but it was pretty fair pricing and I was really happy with what I picked up, so it was time to move on to the next stop of the day.
Hallo, das mit dem Freud sieht doch viel krasser aus. Warum sollte ich denn mal den Nonnenholo holen?
The day in this area is a store called Karten, and the entrance is pretty much spotted from outside of Azumaya. So if you're in the area, there's no reason not to pop in. Karten is another store that stocks a load of TCGs, including Pokemon and stuff, but you can spot the Magic stuff pretty easily once you head in. The selection is pretty limited, but towards the back of the store you can find trays of singles, but nothing here is organized, so fair warning. All their prices were allocated based on what sleeves they were, but unfortunately it's kind of hard to find what you're looking for here, and I didn't really find anything that I needed here, so it's time to move on to my last stop of the day, and easily the best Magic the Gathering store in Tokyo, and in my opinion, probably the world. The final stop of the day is
bin
a
mal
store called
gespannt.
Tokyo MTG, and I can confidently call this the best store in Tokyo. Located right outside the station, when you walk into this store, you can tell right away that this place was curated by people that have such a deep passion for Magic the Gathering. The guys here have easily the best collection of singles in all of Japan.
Okay, ich bin leider nicht im Magic Space, dass ich das appreciaten kann. Sind das Artworks von den, also Sketches von den Designern der Karte und dann zeigt man denen irgendwie eine Karte und dann machen die einen Sketch und dann wird eine Minikarte dran geklebt? Ich weiß es nicht. Ich kann damit leider nichts anfangen. Aber ja, sieht cool aus, so ein Sketchbook von so Artists.
Where I found some of the craziest collection of cards of all time, including secret layers, signed cards, these insane full
Okay,
arts.
Science,
The list goes
okay.
on. I cannot even begin to explain the insanity of cards I found here. All for a really good price.
Ich wünschte, ich könnte
They also
relaten.
have cabinets full of cards from all different
Commander
types of sets,
picks.
and even a dedicated section to high-end commander stables, which isn't very common in Japan. So this was really, really cool to see. Not to mention, right near the entrance, they also have a display of full original artist proofs and signed cards from all
Artist
across
proofs
Magic's
sind
history.
das?
And
Okay.
oh my god, this was just the coolest thing to look at ever. This whole segment's just going to be a glaze fest. While browsing, you might also stumble across a few of their uncut sheets they have on the walls, piles of signed prints from different Magic the Gathering artists,
Cool.
as well as like so many other different miscellaneous items. Now, I definitely went a bit overboard here, but I seriously couldn't help it. This store was just so good. Now, once you finish shopping here, they also have a dedicated play space, and I was able to sit down and relax for a bit and organize my collection. I ended up purchasing a shit ton of really awesome cards here for my Mystical Archive collection.
Oh.
Plus,
Lord of the Pit. Die sieht ziemlich cool aus. Lord of the Pit Card Market. Okay. 400 Euro. Okay. Magicon Product. So, okay. Okay, das schauen wir später nochmal an.
these just awesome cards I found in my bulk bins. My highlight purchase here was easily this signed Restoration Angel, which is going straight into my Catch and Roast deck, and I needed one too, so this is just a win-win. This card was 500 yen, which is about $3 USD, which is insane to find in a bulk bin. The day I was here, they also refreshed their collection of singles, and they had dedicated trays of singles that said new arrivals, which is why I got definitely like super lucky, but I highly recommend checking out this store. Overall, including the prints that I purchased, I spent a total of 10,000 yen here, and that's about 65 bucks USD, which is pretty good. And I'll definitely be back here for a few.
Der sieht auch
65
ziemlich
bucks
sick aus. Was
USD,
ist das für einer?
which is pretty good. And
Junji, the Midnight Sky. Junji, the Midnight Sky. Psychic Reprints. Er sieht ziemlich nice aus. Also das ist voll und nicht voll. Ja, hier ist auf einmal voll deutlich teurer. Warum bei den anderen nicht? Wahrscheinlich ist Non-Voll, gibt es auch gar nicht in Graded, könnte ich mir vorstellen, oder? Nee. Aber voll könnte ich mir vorstellen. PSA auch nicht. Von wann ist das Set? 2025, ja, relativ neu noch. Sieht aber echt schön aus, die Karte. Okay. Wo waren wir hier?
And I'll definitely be back here for a future video, so stay tuned. Overall, if you don't have that much time in Tokyo, or you simply just don't want to commit your holiday time to hunting Magic the Gathering cards, Akihabara is the best place to go. All the stores here are located close together, and I'd highly recommend stopping at least at Tokyo MTG if you have any stop on any list, as they just have the best collection of cards here. And even if you're not looking to buy, it's just fun to go in and look at the stuff that they're offering. Now, it was finally time to head back to the hotel and rest up for the third and final day of Magic the Gathering adventures in Tokyo. Before we get into this day, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I have a load of travel content coming out, and I'm really trying to push this channel this year. So if you enjoy what you see, please subscribe and make sure you check out my future videos that are coming out. They're all going to be Japan travel vlogs, and I'm really, really excited for them. Now, after watching day 2, you might be thinking, Casa, surely there isn't any more Magic the Gathering stores in Tokyo, but there is still like 5 more stops to go. The 2 districts we're going to be exploring today have a few more Magic the Gathering stores, and these ones include Shinjuku and Shibuya. Shinjuku, dubbed the nightlife district of Japan, offers Magic the Gathering nerds a small cluster of stores only a few minutes away from the station. The first stop in Shinjuku today was another Amenity Dreams, and this one was pretty much just a carbon copy of all the other Amenity Dreams that you'll find. Located on the 4th floor, this store has a few different Magic the Gathering cabinets on the right of the entrance, so there's a good collection of singles and labeled binders. They have a cool collection of vintage cards, but nothing I was really looking for, so it was time just to move on and keep the video going. Now, would it really be a day of hunting Magic the Gathering cards if I didn't also stop in a Yellow Submarine? Shinjuku's Yellow Submarine, like all the others, houses not only Magic cards, but a collection of TCGs, board games, and...
Okay, so ein Allrounder
Once you
Store,
make your
also.
way up,
Okay.
you can chuck a left
Ziemlich
where
cool.
you find all their Magic cards, as well as a bunch of different singles and trays and stuff like that. Honestly, they didn't have too much I was really looking forward to here, but they did have the Christmas PR cards that all the creators get sent. So someone has traded these in, and I thought that was really funny. So if you're watching this video and that was you, that's hilarious. Good job, funny as. This stuff has a collection of singles that was sorted by sets all the way up into like Wilds of Eldraine. So if you are looking for specific things, maybe especially for standard, this is definitely your go-to. I didn't end up picking any cards up from the store, and it was time to move on. Now, only down the road from Yellow Submarine is 2 different stores called Full Comp and Magi, or Magi Pokey, I think, or maybe that's a different store, but either way, they don't stock Magic the Gathering anymore, so don't worry about them. Our final stop for Shinjuku is a store called MTG Salon, and I had really high hopes for this store as it definitely looked like a more like cafe vibe, but when I did visit they were renovating, so they weren't really looking to take customers right now, but I popped my head in really quickly and there wasn't too much to see, but I really hope that this store takes off when it's done renovating. Overall, Shinjuku isn't really the greatest stop for Magic the Gathering stores, but if you're into that stuff and you're in the area, you might as well pop your head in because you never know what you can find. Now, after the first week of my holiday, I moved from staying in Shinjuku to Shibuya, and one thing I didn't tell my partner is that we'll be staying literally 1 minute away from Haruya. So why don't we end our trip with my personal favorite and one of the stores close to my heart, Haruya Shibuya. Located probably about 10 minutes away from the famous crossing is yet another Haruya. Now this store is a personal favorite of mine, as unlike the others in Akihabara, this store was always way more quiet, and once you head in, similar to all the Haruyas, you should know what to expect by now. Heaps of cabinets, heaps of singles from all across Magic's history, as well as a giant collection of bulk cards. Similar to the other store, they also have PCs where you can log on, push cards up, and I ended up spending a bit of time here trying to find stuff for decks that I'm building, but they had nothing in stock that I needed, and that was really unfortunate. I ended up picking a few cards here for decks that I could find, as well as a Mystical Archive Strategic Planning, which is one of the ones that eluded me yesterday, and on total I spent about 1700 yen here, and that comes to about $11 USD. To be honest, I was actually surprised by the lack of English cards from this store this time, but maybe I just visited on a bad day. Now, I know there are a few more stores in Shibuya, but last time I was here, there wasn't really any that stocked Magic the Gathering cards other than Haruya, so I decided to skip the hunt here and just call it a day. After these stops, I
Sorry.
had successfully visited pretty much every major LGS in all of Tokyo, or at least as many as I could with the 3 days I had to spend on Magic the Gathering. Tokyo is an amazing place to explore Magic the Gathering stores, and every shop you walk into will be different and unique in their own way. I had an absolute blast checking out all their stores, and I hope you had a good time watching this video, so I'll definitely hit you with the stats now. Overall, I visited 22 different LGSs across 3 days, with my favorite store being Tokyo MTG in Akihabara. The most money I spent in a store was at Haruya Akihabara, where I searched up so many different singles for my Mystical Archive collection as well, and I regret it immensely, but who cares? Depending on where you look, sometimes Magic the Gathering is so much cheaper in Tokyo than where you are in your hometowns, but definitely look for good deals, as not all places have cheap cards these days anymore. Overall, I had an absolute amazing time here, and I can't wait to show you everything I purchased up here in another video coming very, very soon, and I'll showcase how many Mystical Archive cards I actually got and how close we were to finishing the entire collection. It was seriously an experience of a lifetime, and I'm so grateful to be able to share it all with you once again. As always, I'll leave my Magic the Gathering stores that I visited all in a Google Maps list down below, so you can save it and you can access them all for yourself. And if you do that, please let me know in the comments. And also, if you've stayed all the way to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Definitely consider subscribing. I've got heaps more videos coming out where I go to Osaka, Kyoto, where I build a commander deck an entire day, and I show you everything that I bought while I was in Tokyo and how much money I really wasted. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Ja, war ein cooles Video, ne? Ich konnte jetzt leider nicht so viel dazu sagen. Ich bin jetzt nicht so in Magic drin, aber thank you for featuring Tokyo Man in a wonderful video. We're thrilled to be one of your favorite magicians after this video. We expanded our store and now have twice the space. We look forward to meeting you and friends again in Japan. My housemate who doesn't play Magic and I sat down and watched it together while eating dinner. It was wholesome and lovely, much like your content. Keep up the great work. This rocks. Ja, very, very nice video, my friend. Herz. Kommentieren. Gut, meine Freunde. Ich verabschiede mich für heute. War ein sehr cooler Stream. Ich hoffe, ihr bleibt alle gesund. Und ich wünsche euch noch einen schönen Abend. Tschüss.